Andrew called in. Hey, Andrew in San Francisco.
This isn't Adrian, remember.
Oh, this isn't Adrian. Oh, I got them mixed up. Darn it.
Again.
Okay, this isn't Adrian. I'm always doing that. Hey, Andrew, you're live with Eric and V.
We're not going to tarnish you with Adrian's reputation.
Another beautiful day, my friend. I know we're a little late in the show, but what did you want to talk about?
Man, you know, I'm new to listening to atheists. I'm gonna be true. I had kind of a stigma about them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've been listening to a lot of material, and you know, I really just kind of want to establish relationship with you guys. I do have a little movement I'm trying to start. I don't know if it's a religion or whatnot or a perspective, but I think we have a lot of things in common. I kind of just would like to join into the conversation on just things about the Bible, or, you know, trying to maybe just define terms like myself. I believe in God, you know, big time. Right. But I think a lot of people are lost in translation. And when I see the Bible, you know, I didn't really grow up with the Bible or nothing like that. I don't really get along with churches. I'm not constantly getting kicked out, but, you know, I'm stirring up trouble because I ask questions. And that's what I like about the atheists, is they're holding a tight line on the standards. You know, I don't like it when all the churches that I went to couldn't really explain it, and there was that leap of faith part. And I'm like, you know, am I learning something from somebody who's not really an expert on the subject? But when I look around and compare the Bible with science, I mean, I just see nothing but correlations. You know what I mean? About I mean, everything from Noah's flood.
Ooh, that is one contentious topic, my friend. Do you want to go on and talk about Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So do you think that there was a global flood?
Yeah.
Global or regional?
You know what, on this subject, I mean, not so much global. Like, I don't think the whole world was covered with water, but I know there was a period of time that just came up. You know what I mean? Where you know what? We could do another subject, and if we have more time, or I can look it up right now. But I mean, we can start on Adam and Eve, and then I can get the actual. I don't know if it's Ethocene, Heocene, but the waters. The sea level raised 25 feet per year for like an extended period of time. If you were on a place that got surrounded by water from all sides, I could see how they could think the whole world was flooded. You know what I mean? From their perspective.
Yeah, but that said, that's not what the Bible says, right? There are flood myths all throughout different religions, because floods are a natural occurrence in the same way that there are myths that are around other natural disasters. Now, if you were to say flood happened, therefore Noah's Ark is true, do you see how that's kind of a leap for us?
The thing is scientifically, it's called a population bottleneck. So that so much of humans were gone. So that I'm just saying you have to take into consideration the author's lack of, because this is how I believe. The First Testament, to me, is kind of like
Genesis.
Okay, sorry guys. No. Sorry guys. This is what I got to say first. This is what I was taught in college. There's three major accomplishments that man's had. First was the ability to speak, and second was the ability to write it down. So the First Testament to me would be like, you know, trying to pass on the culture or the stories, and then it finally got written down. But these were stories that were verbally told. So there's going to be a lot lost. And then once you had,
hold on. No worries. You're bringing up a lot. And there's no way we're going to go over so much without, you know, talking about it. Otherwise, you're talking at us and it becomes a presentation and less of a dialogue. So I kind of, you did clue me in on a couple things, though, that I want to ask. Number one, do you think anything in the Old Testament actually happened? Or do you think that they were told as seen through the eyes of, you know, Bronze Age goat herders?
Right.
Because if they were seen through the eyes of okay, so do you think there's actual things to be learned or gained or any truthful accounts of things, or is it just kind of a fantastical story the way we read about you know, Greek and Roman and Norse mythology?
I think there's something prophetic in it. I don't know if I'm using the right words, man, but there's something in it that they had. I think it proves meditation or some kind of thought that they can have foresight to see certain things. And I think it was used as a tool to unite our species. You know what I mean? Or at least...
that can be true of any fable, though. I mean, I can say the same thing about Aesop's fables, right? I can bring up a whole bunch of fiction that can help teach you lessons. That doesn't mean that that fiction is true. It just means that there were lessons learned. So if I went and bought a Bible, can I just cut out the Old Testament entirely and just take the New Testament? I mean, I did that once actually on air. Somebody was saying, oh, well, there's stuff you don't need to listen to in the Old Testament. And so I started ripping pages out and people got really pissed. It's like, but if you're saying it's not really worth anything, but just, fanciful stories, then I kind of want to get to what's true. Don't you? I mean, maybe we're talking past each other. Do you?
No, I definitely want to get what's true. So let's try to see if I can do this when I'm defining God.
Sure.
Okay, because it took me a long time to be able to say, okay, this is what I think God is. So the truth of what it is, and this is the whole movement I'm trying to start, and it's a lot more than religion. In this social club, there's spiritual, political, financial. So we're trying to cover everything. So I don't care what religion they are. When we think of the perspective of a human being, we just got to I'm looking for the lowest common denominators. And when they say God is everywhere, God is throughout all time, and I can't sin against you without sinning against God, I'm like, man, how can that possibly be, right? And I'm looking at science, and then that verse popped out where it says, let's make man in our image. So where I'm really thinking about God is like a single cell organism that can multiply itself. And now everything in life is part of it, because you can't deny you have cells in your body. I mean, I know science calls them cells, but science didn't invent.
You went 5 different places again. Places again. No, that's okay. You're excited.
This is impressive. This is kind of tying in all of the other calls we've had today. We've got the using religion for holistic purposes as a pragmatic thing. We've got using the term God to mean something natural. We've got the Gish Gallop from whatever his face was from Newfoundland. We've got it all in one call. This is great.
I feel like we can apply them all here.
Okay.
So
I wasn't listening to all of them. I'm sorry, guys.
No, this is good. This is good TV.
Yeah. So, V, where do you want to pick in, and then I'll jump in as well.
I guess my question is, if we're using, why are we using the Bible specifically? Or are we? Are we using all religious texts?
I think it's this is what I want to do with the club. I want, and I don't want to sound crazy, because there's a lot of crazy elements to the social club, but it has nothing to do with my religious affiliations. It's because I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay. Hold on. More Bay Area callers?
This is impressive. See, it's a theme.
Does everybody still say hella in the Bay Area?
Does everyone what? I'm sorry.
Do people still say hella in the Bay Area?
Oh, yeah. Hella.
Oh, gosh. No, I'm still not going back to the Bay Area. Okay.
No, I want to know why you called in to talk about the Bible specifically, though.
Yeah.
Why did I call it? I want to really call in because I've come up with this thing called Bay Area Nation, and we're trying to unite the religion. And I'm telling you, at churches, I can't get a good conversation because, like you guys are saying, it's not really an intellectual fight. It's I'm lacking in faith. So it's funny, as I've been learning about you guys, I'm like, man, you know what? They're really holding people up to standards. They are giving both people a side to say their voice. And I'm just really trying to come in the middle and go, hey, I love science. Let's read a book. But when I'm reading science, I'm understanding God's method, because science didn't invent plants. It didn't invent all this. So we're playing with the master's tools in the essence of life.
Whoa, stop.
Just looking at life.
Time out.
But we're not getting to the answer to this question, though. So you say, okay, I love science. That's great. Let's read a book. Love books. And then you say, but God. And you've tied God to the Bible in this conversation. So I'm assuming you mean the God of the Bible. Is that right?
I'm really on a monotheistic hype. I'm just trying to unite people. So I'm looking at the big major religious group.
That is a term. That is a term that I'm going to use with your permission, a monotheistic high. I like it. No, but my question still stands. You're on a monotheistic high. You like science, and you think it correlates with the Bible. Why the Bible specifically? Or did you look at the other books? Is the Bible the one you chose after researching all of them? How did you come to that one book as your guide to how to interpret science through God?
Well, I guess I was born Catholic. I never went to church as a Catholic as a kid, maybe just baptisms and funerals. So, then I went, I was kind of out in the streets. And when I went to Christian church, I liked it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, this is a gang as well, because they're talking about Muslims. I got Muslims in my family. We're real diverse out here. So I can't get behind something, that's making somebody else an enemy. That's why I'm trying to come up with something new, because I'm like, how can I get baptized in a church with blood on its hands?
Sure. So let's... Oh, dang. I think that you took words out of my mouth from when I was 19. Yeah. So, okay, hold on. Let's back up a bit, because it sounds like you really don't care whether or not it's true. You want to bring people together. And if you don't, do you care whether or not it's true? Because the whole point of this show is whether or not that God exists, not whether or not it can help people. Because if you want to hear that conversation, we had that one earlier in this episode. But do you care whether or not it's true? Because it sounds like that's kind of secondary to your goal.
I do think it's true. I think that people came together to write the book, to give to us as a blueprint to get somewhere into a point in time. I don't think
right. And so why this book? Why did you pick this book? Is it because it's the one you read?
That's the one I'm familiar with. It's the one I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. It sounds like you're attempting to bring people together. There are other ways you can do it. You don't need to start a new club. What you need to do is go volunteer. Go help the homeless.
Oh, I've done that.
Go, work with your hands. Go give to people. There were plenty of times that before I moved out here, there was a church doing something awesome, and I was like, cool, nobody else is doing it. I went in and lent a hand. Right? Those are ways that you can bring people together. And that's a secular way. That's a way that doesn't require a religion to get everyone behind to go and help. But again, I just feel like we've missed the biggest point here. And the biggest point here is the God belief true and justified, or are we using it to our own ends? I think it's a noble idea, that you've got, but I also think that you may be creating a noble lie. Propping up these beliefs that maybe.
Well, what I'm saying is, when you're looking at
believed, and if you think
what I'm saying is,
then I disagree.
No, what I'm saying is, and that's why I want to call people, because I seem like, I watched a few of the atheist shows. I was getting prepared for him. I kind of called this one freestyle, but the thing is if you look and when you're replacing God in the Bible, can you do it from a single cell organism perspective? And if we can check that work to say, because that's how he's omnipresent, that's how he's this, and that's how it blends with science. So how can we teach this?
Wait.
You know what I mean? How can we teach
No. I don't know what you mean. You gave me a bunch of word salad. What? You said,
are you saying that we can sub out God for single-celled organism and it will still make sense?
That would be a blasphemous statement. So let me say, I want to say I have the most respect for God, because I really think that He gave.
I don't. Hold on. No.
This entire thing is blasphemous.
Yeah,
we're fine with that. You don't have to worry about that.
I think the God of the Bible is one of the biggest immoral monsters that you can get.
I also don't think a single-celled organism gets jealous or orders genocides or causes mass floods. So I don't think you can I don't think you can swap them out.
Yeah, I think that's why I said there's probably something more, but I'm just saying, for a teaching perspective, when people are wrestling with a lot of these things, because from the King James to the new one, like that same passage, or the one in the beginning was the Word and the Word was God, they're like superimposing Jesus on it. I don't believe that's my biggest discrepancy, and that's why I'm friends with a lot of Muslims. Yeah. They're like, man, you sound like a Muslim, but I'm like, dude, I read the Bible and I come to these conclusions logically. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think you might be coming to logical conclusions despite the Bible, but that might be picking.
You're granting the logical conclusions, which remain
fair,
to be seen.
Fair. Ooh,
I like that you called in though, Andrew, kind of freestyle. I think that a lot of the time people call in with a script and you kind of get them off the script and then they can't have a conversation and they try to go back and it's frustrating. So I like that you called in to just kind of shoot the shit with us and brainstorm some ideas. I think next time I'd do a little bit of external research and come with some really surefire examples that really kind of clinch your argument so that you can present them and then we can have a conversation about those.
Where should I get that from? Get the Bible and science? Want me to get them all together?
Well,
I'm just saying where you want me to research from.
We want you to give us what you believe, not what you think is useful, not what other people think, and not how those things can fit together. What you actually think and why, and do you have good reasons for it? Whatever effect it has on the world. I mean, what if the truth just has a terrible effect on the world? Does that mean we should lie to everybody? I don't think so. I think that we should endeavor to find what's true about the world and then make informed decisions and build this world the best way that we can with what we have. I don't think you need the Bible. I think the Bible's superfluous. I think it's an addition that you're trying to add in, and I see why you're trying to do it. But I don't think you need the Bible to do good things.
Can I tell you, I'm trying to make a trilogy.
People in to do good things.
I'm trying to get a trilogy going. I think we all need
another novel pitch.
Yeah, another book.
Another book.
This is amazing.
Another book, guys.
Stop. No matter what happens, your morality, your ethics, right? What you think is right and wrong is going to change over time. Who knows? Now, don't get me wrong. People who are vegan, who are watching, I do not want you to call in. This is not Talk Vegan. But if it happens to be that we as a society recognize and go, hey, you know what? Killing animals is wrong. Then maybe 2,000 years from now, people will look back at us and say, wow, can you believe that our ancestors were these monsters that killed animals? Right? I want our ethics and our morality to grow. And when you set down these moral tenets and say, hey, this is what you're supposed to follow, I think you are setting us back. You are creating this stopping point. You don't need to do that. Find good reasons that are good reasons on their own. Helping people is not something you need to write a book and tell people they have to do. You don't have to lie to them. You don't have to create extra reasons. You're helping people because it's the right thing to do. People who are on board for doing that with you, cool. Those are the right people to build a community with.
Right.
You don't need to change you for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, we're on this world because, I believe in reincarnation. So I do want to come back to a better world. I don't think I'm going to fly around the sky. So
we disagree with you.
I feel like we're getting punked. Did you all get together beforehand and discuss topics? Because this is impressive.
No.
But
it's the Lord. Hey, God's working.
Nope. And no, come on. Okay, I get you. You're being funny. I get you're being funny. No, it's okay. We got another caller we want to take. But yeah, definitely sure. Listen to what V said. Get some thoughts together. We want to know what you think is true, not what we think is useful. And we don't want you to hide in, and I don't think you're intentionally doing it, but I think that's something that people learn to do is they hide deeper thoughts in analogy that they don't have to think about anymore. They hide it in flowery, phrases, but really when you break down into it, there's not a lot of calories in there. It's just empty. It's just junk, and I don't want you to do that. And I think you might be falling prey to that. That said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'm glad you called in, man.
You too, guys.
Take care.
I think Andrew's on the right track because he said, I'm going to churches, I'm asking questions, and they're saying you don't have faith, and that's not enough for me. And I'm watching atheist content, and you guys are making room for discussion. You guys are grappling with questions without that kind of judgment. And all of that is great, and you should continue on that path. And I know a lot of people who come out of religion, whether that's strict indoctrination, or it sounds like in Andrew's case, less indoctrination and more just kind of cultural absorption of a religion. The instinct is to try and grab onto as much as you can and take it with you once you leave. And I think that might be what's happening here, because I know I did that when I started deconverting. So I would stress, and this, I'm saying this as somebody who also loves projects and loves getting my hands dirty and going at it and making things, slow down, calm down, do more thinking, do more research, call in again. Let's have these conversations and come to a place where we're sure we are speaking correctly about things that are meaningful and true before you start building a community. Because what will happen if you build this community while you're in this transitional phase and then you leave it? Suddenly, either the community has to adapt with you, or you have to leave the community that you created knowing that it's not accurate. And that can be really tough. So I'd say you're on the right track. You're doing good work. You're asking good questions. Keep researching and leave your presuppositions at the door.
Agreed. Yeah, I think you nailed that pretty well. The only thing that I want to add is that, yeah, it's, if you're walking out and you're thinking, okay, we need a book. If we don't have a book, then what are we going to reference? We got to have a book. Okay, well, let's look at this book. Oh, crap, this is not a good book. We need a new book. I mean, I get it. But it's also worth taking that step back and saying that a lot of these things we are doing, the reason we have the laws we do is because we're trying to codify our morality and our ethics, and laws change as we change. And we see that. There's a lot more that's in play than you think. But I think instead of trying to find and build that community, ground yourself first. Know where you're at. Know why you're there for good reasons. And then from there, approach where you're going honestly. We don't need to give, smaller lies so that we can hit this goal. We can do it without lying to people. We can do it without making space for magical thinking. We don't. It's not a magical world, but it's still a beautiful one. We don't need it.